have a love-hate relationship with two very specific, pivotal, game-changing fitness programs, P90X and CrossFit. First, I'll start with the love part. Both of these modalities started to come into prominence about 20 years ago. P90X, which was a series of at-home workout DVDs, led not by a trainer, but a stand-up comedian, Tony Horton, caught fire through a series of never-ending late-night infomercials and primetime placements on QVC. CrossFit, which was founded by a polio survivor turned personal trainer named Greg Glassman, began a grassroots movement in Southern California by five-finger shoe-wearing, tribal-tattooed, armband sporting gym goers who wanted to break out of the standard machine-based bodybuilding style training that absolutely dominated the culture back then. Now, what these seemingly very different approaches had in common changed the fitness landscape forever. They both, without apology, promoted the idea that training had to be challenging to be successful. This seems like a pretty common sense idea now, but back then the culture was filled with thigh masters and 8-minute abs videos and seemingly an unlimited number of products and programs that claimed that looking like Hulk Hogan or Raquel Welch required minimal effort and could totally be done from the comfort of your living room. P90X and CrossFit shot you straight. Training can work, but you have to work your ass off. And that's about it. Actually, that's not fair, nor is it true. There are plenty of other things that I admire about CrossFit in particular. Now, they utilize a lot of powerful foundational barbell exercises. They popularize training community and working out in groups. They put more of a priority on scoring workouts in an effort to make training more progressive. These are all hallmarks of a solid approach, and I don't shy away from telling you that we've also incorporated those ideas into training that I recommend and program for and sell at the Fort today. You can check out our website if you're interested and live in New York City. However, with the good comes the bad, a lot of bad. P90X solely capitalized on sweat. Short rest periods didn't allow for much strength progression, and they hung their entire system on the idea that fatigue was the number one sign of a good product. CrossFit was guilty of this to an extent as well, but they compounded it with their reliance on high skill movement, prescribed weights that might not be appropriate for all members, a randomized training approach that made measuring progress much less predictable, and either combining specific exercises or overusing movement patterns that drove up your risk of injury. Not great. The other fatal flaw that both P90X and CrossFit share is the idea of training every day. High training frequency can be an appropriate approach for quite frankly, a very small number of people. Professional or high-level collegiate athletes who have little else on their plates can benefit from a variety of session types, including strength, conditioning, skill, and sports practice. Even for general population clients, there's something to be said for the building of a habit of training. And there's very little that will build a habit more effectively than everyday exposure. However, more often than not, I see very high frequency trainees fall into the physiological and psychological trap that accompanies getting 6+ training sessions in per week. And that's something that I like to call the moderation trap. We've learned in recent years that both physical and mental pursuits are maximized when you are pushing past the rote and passive and instead challenge yourself into a deep practice that's beyond your current capabilities and brings your attempts close to failure. To put this directly into strength training terms, you need to be within a few reps of failure to maximally benefit from a set. To look at this through another lens, speed won't increase if you're constantly working at sub-maximal pace. Your violin playing will not improve if you don't attempt more complicated scales and passages. Your ability to improve your computer programming skills or oil painting techniques only happens when you work at the edge of your capability. The challenge of this when it comes to training is that Unlike perhaps for painting or computer science, there is a level of inherent fatigue. You can't fly too close to the sun with your workout intensity day in and day out and not run the risk of true physical burnout or injury risk. Because of this, the high frequency trainee never really pushes the workout close to failure. Not only can they not do it physically, the mental default is often, I don't need to push so hard today, I'm just going to hit it again tomorrow. And thus the high frequency trainee never or rarely pushes the intensity of the workout to the point where they would actually benefit from it. They let their consistency become a proxy for their effort. We've all seen it. That guy in the faded blue tank top that seemingly lives in the gym but never makes any progress. He's always there banging out half-hearted sets on the machine dips in between trips to the front desk to chat it up with the membership manager. Sure, his consistency is top-notch. They'll probably put a memorial plaque with his name on the bench press when he passes away. God bless his soul. But he is never pushing his training enough to get the benefit from all the hours in the gym. I get it. I've been there. For many people, the gym is a solution to mental health challenges, and particularly in the case of something like CrossFit, a major part of their identity. But that doesn't override the fact that these fine folks would be much better served, at least physically, if they found a way to work closer to the edge of their limits, even if it meant training less often. It's an idea that they might hate, but it could also lead to an outcome that they love. If you made it this far into the video and you want to hear my rants and thoughts on any other topics, you're going to want to check out this video. YouTube thinks that you'd enjoy it. I'll see you there.